As you start making yourself better as a business owner or investor, you will find that the team that served you before may not serve you now. Or as you learn more and more throughout your journey, you may start seeing red flags that you may not have noticed before. When you're working with somebody who's not a good fit, that impacts your reputation. And when you're in business, a reputation is everything. So today we're talking about having tough conversations and letting go of teammates that may not be the right fit for you. As you start up-leveling, as you start making yourself better as a business owner or investor, you will find that the team that served you before may not serve you now. Or as you learn more and more throughout your journey, you may start seeing red flags that you may not have noticed before. And I'm going to tell you, I'm a people pleaser. So this has been the biggest learning curve in my journey as an investor, as a business owner. When we feel like we don't belong in a specific situation, we kind of gaslight ourselves sometimes into thinking that it's okay. Maybe I'm not looking at things correctly. We've been in this business now for a decade. And when I first started out, you're very inexperienced and you don't know what to expect. You don't know what the right professional behavior is because it's a new world for you. And the reason I want to talk about this is I don't want you to feel like you did something wrong. This happens to a lot of new business owners, a lot of new investors. Why is this important? It costs us more than we think. It has an impact on your mental health. Working with somebody who's toxic day in and day out, it does impact your mental health. When you're working with somebody who's not a good fit, they're going to treat the rest of the team not the way you want them to be treated. They're going to treat your tenants or your clients not the way you want them to be treated. And that impacts your reputation. And when you're in business, a reputation is everything. We had a property manager that we'd hired years ago. We'd hired them. And at that time, we were transitioning from self-management. We had our own team. We were managing properties ourselves. And then we handed it off to a property manager. And one of my very first tenants still had my cell number because that's how we started, right? We put in all the systems and processes later, but initially they had my cell number. So he texted me and he said, I have told this property management company about a leak weeks ago. Have you heard anything about it? Because it's not fixed. I hadn't heard anything about it. And so when you hire someone who's not a good fit for your business, it's going to impact how your clients, your tenants are treated. He still had my cell number, so he let me know. Otherwise, I would have never known. And over time, so when we brought it up to the property management company, they started gossiping about the tenant. And they were like, tenants are toxic, this tenant's toxic. And that's not how you treat your tenants. That's not okay. So it can really change the culture of how you want to run your business. We feel very uncomfortable talking to someone about parting ways. When we wanted to end our time with that property management company, it was tough to call them and be like, hey, if we don't continue working with you, what does it look like? How do we end this contract? What are the fees? And then really being fair, but upfront about things. That's why it's so tough to bring about these changes. But here are some mindset shifts that you can think about. Number one is let go of the guilt. It's not about your feelings. It's about what's right for them and for you. And sometimes, if you think about it, sometimes people may work out really, really great for somebody else, but not for you. And what you're doing by ending this partnership or this relationship or this employment is you're giving them the opportunity to find a place where they are better fit than in your company and in your culture, right? So we have a 3-step process that you can think about when you want to end a relationship with someone. Number one is to stop ignoring the red flags. Do you know how you may have a friend that is not with the right person? And when you see them, you can see the red flags, but that person cannot because they're in it. And it's hard to see things when you're in it. So take a step back. And when you see the red flags, if it helps, write them down because that's going to help you articulate and it's going to help you figure out that you're in the right. You are looking at things correctly. Second one is having a conversation. That's the second step. I think what we do, because we just don't want to have these tough conversations, guilty as charged, is we'll go from gaslighting, maybe they're fine, it's all good, to can't work with them anymore. You have to find a way to first have a conversation. And that is the toughest thing. That is step 2. Hey, such and such happened, and this is not how we run our business. This is not the standards we've set. And have a conversation. And you know what's going to happen? A member of your team that is actually a good performer is going to immediately realize that they are not meeting your expectations and change their ways. And that is amazing, because what that means is it wasn't a problem of that person not working out. The problem was maybe there was a communication issue. The expectations weren't set correctly. You get to keep a great team member that you wouldn't have otherwise. We had a person who was doing our renovations, and then he was also helping us get the Section 8 process work through, right? They were going to be there for the inspections. They were always missing the inspections. And when I say always, it happened multiple times. It happened 2 or 3 times. And we found out because the inspector would call and they would be like, there's nobody here. If you've done Section 8 work, you know now it's pushed back weeks. Now you've lost weeks of rent. You may also lose the tenant who was interested in the property. So we had a conversation with them and we said, listen, like, we like everything about working with you, but you cannot miss this because it directly impacts our bottom line. This is not the standard we want to set with our relationship with Section 8. We don't want them to think that we're the kind of people who won't show up when the inspector shows up, because in the city, there are inspectors that will come again to a different property that you own. It may be the same inspector. You don't want your reputation to be impacted, right? So we had that conversation with them. And you know what they said? They said, we're really good at renovating, but can we not do this part for you? Because what we're realizing is we're just not good at this. Can you assign this to somebody else? And that was a fantastic conversation to have. It was
That's
a tough conversation. Picking up that phone and telling them what was not working for us was tough, but it led to a great relationship, because they said, you know what, we're just not good at this. This isn't what we do. We were doing it for you because you asked. I don't have a person to be there for a few hours waiting for the inspector. Now I have to get my handyman from a different project over there waiting for the inspector. He's like, we're not good at this. So what I'm trying to say is, if you don't put that step 2 between you noticing the problem and third step is letting them go, obviously, right? If you don't put that step 2, you may miss out on an amazing relationship that you could have had with someone, right? And it has to be, keep it very professional. Like, hey, we like these things about you, but this is just not working for us. This is the standard we have, and this is not how we want to operate. It's going to impact our reputation. This is just not how we operate our business. And don't go into it expecting anything. This is a very straightforward, professional conversation that you're having with someone. It's a part of this business. And sometimes people who are amazing fits for years then end up not working out because something has changed in their personal life. I would love to know, what are some red flags that you have seen? I'm going to give you some examples. Laziness, entitlement, gossiping. We had a title agent that would always gossip about the lender, any lender. And at first we were like, maybe the lender is bad. So then we changed the lender, and he was still gossiping about them. And he was like, oh yeah, they never send me anything on time. I've did a deal with them before. They're so terrible. They always say they would do it, but they never do it. And we're like, wait, if you have a problem with everyone, you're the only common factor here. Negativity is another one. Negativity is a huge thing. It can bring the whole team down, whoever they're working with. It can bring them all down. And guess what? Rock stars always know rock stars. They always love working with rock stars. If you have an amazing person on your team and they recommend someone and they like working with them, they match their energies. And you will notice that the entire team, the performance of your entire project is going to be up-leveled by that. So 3 steps to have this tough conversation, to be able to let go of a teammate that's not working for you. Number 1, notice the red flags. If you notice things, don't let it go. Keep it in mind. Second, have a conversation. Don't just let it fester. Have a conversation. And then the third one is, then you can decide to part ways professionally. Keep it professional. This industry is very small. Everyone knows everyone. Your reputation means everything. So always keep it professional, no matter what. When you're ready to get serious, you can join us at theinvestoraccelerator.com.
It's like getting 1,000 episodes worth of information in 5 days, and it's everything you need to build your actionable plan to financial freedom and making work optional.